Urban Nights Update is next. Coming up, big news from the Republican Party. Another senator is calling it quits.
Recent college graduates who are under the gun to find a job before they have to leave the country.
We'll take a look at the Me Too phenomenon sweeping the country.
And how you can make money playing video games. All that and more coming up on Urban Nights Update.
Hi there, and thanks for joining us here at Urban Nights Update. Alma Tadenthrop is joining me. I'm Anthony Silva. In a big announcement, Arizona Senator Jeff Flake announced that he will not run for re-election in the 2018 midterm. The Republican said he can better serve his country by not running. He is best known for recently clashing with Republican President Donald Trump on multiple occasions. Senator Flake has not been shy about his concern for the presidency and also explained how he criticized Trump for his personal attacks and threats against principles. The senator claims he is worried about the democratic principles and the country's fate under Trump.
Tennessee Senator Bob Corker and President Trump continue to exchange insults on Twitter. Corker, who is also Republican, says the president is constantly untruthful and has debased the U.S. and damaged its standing in the world. He also urged Trump to stay out of the foreign policy, especially with handling North Korea. The senator also recently announced that he was not seeking re-election. President Trump headed to Capitol Hill to meet with Senate Republicans early Tuesday, hoping to seek an agreement on tax reform. Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming said it was a productive meeting. Barrasso says the president was strong and focused on giving people a raise by cutting the taxes.
Major Senate Republicans have begun to privately discuss details about an immigration plan that will help protect the immigrants we refer to as Dreamers. The Dreamers are set to lose their work permits early next year, which is when the deportation process will begin. However, influential GOP senators are eagerly working to find a solution that will allow the Dreamers to stay. Nearly 24 major tech companies are planning a launch to demand legislation that would help give Dreamers permanent residency. Just to name a few, Amazon, Intel, and Uber are all backing up the Dreamers. The Coalition for the American Dream will make Congress to pass big-time legislation that will allow them to continue working in the United States.
The U.S. has the world's largest international student population with more than 1 million students. OPT is one of the opportunities offered for full-time international students. Putri Tangyong has more.
One of the opportunities that international students can get in the U.S. is OPT, Optional Practical Training, a work permit for international graduate students for a duration of 1 to 3 years. Under the current president's administration, international students feel that it is more difficult for them to get a job. After graduating from UC Berkeley, Laras is afraid that she will have to return home because she has not received any job offers within the time limit.
The requirement for this OPT is that once you get the card, you'll have to find a job within 3 months. And sadly, I received mine like 2 months ago, but now I only have 1 month to look for this impossible job. Considering this new administration, which is the Trump administration, as we all know, really focus on the employment of the natives, the locals, because compared to a lot of my friends who graduated years before me, which is under the previous administration, got the OPT relatively easier compared to mine.
The uncertainty about OPT's future could be discouraging for some international students. One of those students is Brian, a senior at UC Berkeley majoring in business. Trump's administration wants to decrease the amount of foreign workers who obtain their working visa through loopholes. Brian feels disheartened by Trump's stance in categorizing international students in the same pool with loophole seekers.
Hearing about Trump being very anti-OPT, immigrants or anti-talent from outside of the United States, it's quite disheartening. Hopefully things change and things get better, but as of now, I don't really know if I want to work here just because of how difficult it is and how difficult the situation is.
Despite the current administration's beliefs, many international students still believe that America is still the land of hope and opportunity. In San Francisco, I'm Putri Tanjung for Urban Nights Update.
International students may apply for OPT up to 90 days before completing a full academic year.
Despite being publicly against refugees, Trump's administration will resume accepting refugees. However, the decision comes with a little twist, as procedures will be tightened up for immigrants from high-risk countries. Moreover, Trump's administration has limited refugee admission to just 45,000 people. Africa and Southeast Asia lead the largest number at 19,000 and 17,500, while Europe and Latin America refugees will be limited to just under 2,000. The number of refugee admissions is the lowest that it has been since the Refugee Act was established in 1980. Trump's administration favors the far right in banning abortion. It's an issue that's causing much controversy. Just recently, the Federal Appeals Court finally approved a wish of a 17-year-old immigrant to abort her child after a legal battle with Trump's administration. The 6-3 vote gave Jane Doe the okay to abort her child after being detained in southern Texas since September.
Bill O'Reilly, an anchor for Fox News, recently got fired from the station after being accused for sexual misconduct. O'Reilly denied all accusations. He blames the comments on, quote, a higher power. O'Reilly has used social media platforms to share his side of the story, also disclosing the impact it's making on his life and children. The Oscar-nominated writer-director James Toback is accused for sexual harassment by dozens of women in the middle of Harvey Weinstein scandal. 38 women have come forward to claim that Toback, now 72, has arrested and assaulted them during a time period that stretches back to the 80s. Toback himself has denied the accusation and says it is biologically impossible because of his medical conditions, like diabetes and a heart problem. It looks like Harvey Weinstein and James Toback are not the only ones who have been accused for sexual harassment. During the last week, women all over the globe have shared their stories and experience using the hashtag #MeToo on social media. Clara Tellantorp met 2 women who have posted their hashtag on their wall on Facebook.
2 simple words have exploded on social media lately. Women from all over the world who have been sexually harassed have shared their stories by using the hashtag #MeToo. It was the actress Alyssa Milano who started the movement as a response to Harvey Weinstein's scandal when she posted the tweet, suggested by a friend if all the women who have been sexually harassed or assaulted wrote "Me Too" as a status, we might give people sense of the magnitude of the problem. If you have been sexually harassed or assaulted, write "Me Too" as a reply to this tweet. After the tweet, billions of women, some of them famous, but many not, have posted their stories. One of them is Taisia Andreeva.
One time I came into the bus, it was full of people, and that was the man who was staring at me and the girlfriend I was with for a long time. And then he started moving like really towards me, so it was really uncomfortable because he was really close and he was trying to get behind me, like almost like press me in. And I was trying to like walk away, but he kept walking on me, so we decided to leave the bus even earlier than we were supposed to.
Another woman who has joined the Me Too movement is Beata von Gråthusen.
So I didn't actually want to at first because I don't usually post stuff on social media like that. But then I thought, well, if everyone thought like me, then no one would post. So everyone needs to contribute to like actually solve the problem.
Taisia has one more comment.
So I think people should start sharing it more so the world can see actual problem of girls being harassed a lot by men. and it's not even count like harassing because they're not sure about it.
In San Francisco, I'm Claire Talentorp for Urban Nights Update.
The numbers of women sharing the stores will keep ticking.
Man Packing, a major supplier for veggies in California, announced Monday that it will recall its products due to a contamination in Listeria. Listeria is a bacteria which can cause serious and sometimes fatal infections in young children, the elderly, and others with weak immune systems. For example, asthma. The recall has affected major corporations like Walmart, Target, and even Whole Foods in the United States and in Canada. As of now, there have been no reported illnesses linked to the contamination. For more on health news, Chris Petrosi joins us.
Thank you, Anthony. With most of the attention still focused on the fires in northern areas of California, currently public health officials are dealing with an epidemic. An hepatitis A breakout was announced Thursday by the California Department of Public Health. The CDPH has accounted for 19 deaths, along with over 300 people hospitalized since November 2016. Areas that have seen the most cases of the hepatitis outbreak have come from San Diego, Santa Cruz, and Los Angeles counties. Officials working close to the dilemma are assuring Californians they're getting the outbreak resolved and there shouldn't be any continued risk moving forward. A woman in Texas was recently diagnosed with broken heart syndrome after her beloved dog passed away. 62-year-old Joni Simpson says that after dealing with the stress of her son's impending back surgery and son-in-law's unemployment issues, the death of her dog Maya pushed her over the edge. Joni was life-flighted to her local hospital, where doctors thought they were dealing with a heart attack, but after further testing, it came back to be broken heart syndrome. Joni has now fully recovered from her traumatic event and plans to have another pup in the near future. This one is for all your parents out there. If you've been wondering if your child might be spending too much time looking at the screen as of late, you're certainly not alone. A recent study from Common Sense Media found that 42% of current children younger the age of 8 have their own tablet device. Here's where it gets interesting. Children's ages 8 and under are now averaging an hour a day absorbed on these electronic devices. Boy, how times have changed. In Utah, a 74-year-old man is taking it upon himself to find a kidney donor for his wife in stage 5 kidney failure. Not knowing any other way to help out in the search for his wife's kidney, Wayne Winters decided to walk his busy streets with the sandwich board around his shoulders. On the board it reads, "Need a kidney for wife." On his first day walking the streets, a driver actually stopped Wayne to talk about potentially donating a kidney to his wife. While further testing still needs to be done to see if the kidney is a genetic match, Wayne says he plans to continue walking the streets until his wife gets the kidney. Best of luck to Wayne and his wife. That's all the latest news from the world of health. Back to you.
Thanks, Chris. For many Americans, it's not easy or cheap to have health insurance. For many international students, obtaining health insurance throughout their school isn't easy as well. Urban Nights reporter Lucius Lee shares his experience.
Each semester brings new challenges. This semester, school automatically regrets the international student for healthy insurance at the cost of $600 a semester. The Academy of Art University have over 6,000 undergraduate international students have been affected by the new rule. Needless to say, the healthy officials have been busy on received many complaints.
The school has offered a health insurance program that international students can apply for. It is a mandatory health insurance that is given to our international students. They actually brought it in this year. So from what I understand, if you are international, you will be given health insurance in which you have to pay a certain amount of money in order to avail the insurance policy, or you will be added under the international insurance that is offered by the Academy of Art University. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. So you get a lot of health benefits, you know, you don't have to pay as much for hospital visits. It's very useful for international students who come for the very first time to San Francisco.
Sounds good, but is it really enough detail for students to get to know thoroughly?
I don't know what hospitals accept the college insurance. I wasn't given a list of anything like that.
I hear our insurance service offer international students who didn't work on our campus. International students can only do is send an email to healthyinsurance@academy@. Then edu. Looks like the insurance of the international student is school has a lot of work to do. In San Francisco, I'm Lucius Lee, Urban Nights Update.
A lot has been going on in the world of sports this past week. Let's go to Isaiah Quiroz, who has more.
Thanks, Anthony. Hello, everybody. Today in your sports segment, we're going to talk about multiple Academy of Art teams having success over the weekend. Along with that, we'll check in with some of the sports teams from the Bay Area. Early in the morning, Saturday, October 22nd, men's and women's cross country took second at the Pac West Championships. With this placement, the women's team is now regionally ranked for the first time in program history, while the men remain on the national radar as well. After a 2-week break, cross country will head to Oregon to compete in the NCAA Regional Championship on November 4th. That same day saw the women's soccer team get their first win in conference play this year against Holy Names. Holy Names seemed to be in command early on, but the tides changed when Abigail Chavez found the net for her second goal of the season. In the second half, freshman midfielder Sydney Cook found Alyssa Rasmussen for the second and final goal of the game. That goal was the first goal for Alyssa in her collegiate career. Directly after the women's game, the men's had a battle of their own. In the beginning, it was a defensive battle with neither team taking many shots. But in the second half, the action started. Bobby Gutierrez found himself on top of the box and hit a very well-placed shot to the bottom corner for the first goal of the contest. Shortly after, I was able to weave through traffic and tuck it away to put us up 2-0. Holy Names responded with a beautiful strike that flew into the top corner, but it was too little, too late, and the Urban Knights held on for the win. Both the men's and women's teams will head to Southern California for their last road trip of the season, taking on Azusa and California Baptist. Lastly, the women's volleyball team got in on the winning mentality with a 3-0 sweep of Holy Names. They started off slow in the first set, but were able to recover for a 26-24 win. In the second set, it was basically the same story. The Urban Knights kept their composure and rallied late to win the set. From there, it was smooth sailing, as they took the last set easily to finish off their first sweep of the year. Many players stood out this game as it was a serious team effort, but most notably was Ashley Pollock, who had her 11th double-digit dig effort, and Bailey Suzma, who led the Knights with 10 kills. The team has 2 road games coming up against Dominican and Fresno Pacific. Dub Nation got back to its winning ways with a convincing victory over the Mavericks. It seemed to be a close game at half, with the score being 65-62, but in the last 2 quarters, the Warriors stepped up the defense and poured on the offense, and won the contest by 30. The Dubs are now 2-2. The 49ers struggles continued as they had a disappointing result, falling 40-10 to the Cowboys. The 49ers defense could just not withstand the offensive power of the Cowboys, mostly coming from the quarterback Dak Prescott and running back Ezekiel Elliott. The 49ers winless season continues as they fall 0-7. On the bright side, the San Jose Earthquakes scored a late-game winner in a 3-2 contest against Minnesota United FC to punch their ticket to the MLS playoffs. It was the final day of the season, and 3 teams were fighting for the last available spot, and the San Jose Earthquakes took advantage, and they'll face off against 3rd-seeded Kansas City in the knockout round. That wraps up our sports segment for this week. I'm Isaiah Quiroz. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Isaiah. Sounds like the Urban Knights had a very successful weekend in sports. Now let's join Jonathan Navarro, who was able to speak with an Urban Knight from the men's soccer team.
Thank you so much. I'm Jonathan Navarro, and I have the pleasure here to speak with
Dominic Perichin.
Dominic Perichin is a soccer player for the Academy of Art men's soccer team. And so, Dominic, this is your 4th year here, correct?
That is correct, yeah.
How would you explain the ride and the process of making it to the collegiate level?
Well, it was definitely a lot of hard work. I had to play club level soccer, as you may know. high school as well. I did that. Just had to really keep working and pushing it every day because the collegiate level was way different than club level or high school level.
Nice. And you are a senior, so freshman year was 4 years ago. How does that feel?
Honestly, I can't even believe it. It feels like it was just yesterday. The season goes by so fast, and not many people realize how fast it goes by until they're finally there at the end.
Yeah. Wow. So freshman year, what was the hardest thing about adjusting to the college game?
I would say the biggest adjustment was the speed of play, definitely. It's a lot faster than club level or anything like that, and especially here in America, I know they play maybe a different style in Europe, but in America it's a lot more direct and definitely a lot more fast-paced.
Yeah. Would you say that you've grown as a soccer player at these 4 years here?
Yeah, definitely. This is the highest level I've ever played at, so I'd say freshman year to now I'm a lot better than I was.
That's definitely good to hear. What are some of your best moments? I mean, senior year is wrapping up right around the corner. What are some of the best accomplishments thus far for you?
Well, I had a lot with the team, but I'd say one of my most memorable moments was winning the MVP last year for the team. I know the team votes for it, so it meant a lot more knowing that the guys were looking up to me, and I was able to, push the team forward, and they saw me as the MVP of the team. It was really cool.
That's awesome. This year, you guys went to Hawaii, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Did you go 2 years?
I did. I went both years.
It's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
So what's coming up soon with the season wrapping up? What do you have to expect? What are your expectations?
Well, we have the last 4 games, or 5 games actually, because now we have a rescheduled game against Concordia from Irvine, and that's going to be a tough week. We got 3 games in 4 days, so just mentally preparing for that, trying to finish strong and get as many points for the table as possible.
Nice, nice. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. This has been a pleasure talking to you, Dominic.
Thank you, Johnny.
And back to you guys.
Thanks, Jonathan and Dominic. Video games addicts can now make a life-supporting income. After all these years, the video game industry has proven every doubtful parent wrong. Video games are officially not a waste of time. Reporter Elena Simons has the story.
League of Legends, the most played video game in the world. Winnie Dong is an avid League of Legends gamer.
So they have the World Championship competition. Right now it's happening in China, I think. And they have like professional gamers from all over the world to go to China and like fight against each other and fight for the World Championship.
15,000 people fill the arena for 2 days to watch professional gamers play. Top gamers make millions and travel on international athletic visas. People of all ages sell their game perks to each other on sites like eBay.
With the increase in revenue in the game industry, people are making lifestyles out of playing video games. Wouldn't you just love to have a life where you have to do nothing besides play video games? Don't get excited too quickly. It takes a lot of time and dedication.
Graham had the answers we were looking for.
It's becoming more and more of a possibility to actually try and make that into a career, because with certain games it's actually becoming like monetarily viable. If you are good enough to win, you actually can fund your life for many years now, especially in League and Dota and these new MOBAs that are coming out. The prize pool for winning, say, TI is $1 million a person minimum, and that was a couple of years ago. It's gotten bigger now. But the people who win TI are like 5 people in the entire world once a year. It takes a amount of consistency with one game for unless there's maybe a couple of other people who have gone between RTSs and MOBAs because they're very similar.
I am Elena Simon with KR Update. Thanks for watching.
The video game world is in full speed. New platforms are developing and there is no sign of slowing down.
Dreams as you'll live forever. Live as you'll die today. words spoken by American icon James Dean. This statement can be incorporated in many different ways, as is the subject of the question of the week.
What I dream about the most is, most of the time I think about my career, like, where will it end up? Like, am I going to be what I want it to be?
At the moment, I'm dreaming about getting a visa for the US because my girlfriend lives here, she's a US citizen, and we're trying to start a life together.
I usually sit at my desk and I like do a lot of people watching. So I'm like, yeah, I like usually dream about like a lot of hot guys and stuff and try to like guess like what their careers are, like if they have wives.
I dream about getting a job next year in an art studio, hopefully in LA or the Bay Area. And so I think about that pretty much every day. And I work on getting better at just art in general.
Today's entertainment includes some controversial topics and some up-and-coming new movies that are not at all what they appear to be. Sterling Hawkins joins us with details.
Being skinnier for Kelly Clarkson wasn't as healthy as we all thought. Kelly Clarkson wasn't just losing weight for fun, she was battling suicide and depression. She was forcing herself to go to the gym and run constantly. She wanted to make clear, though, that being skinny isn't what made her sad, but how she became skinny is what caused the stress in her life. She is now raising 2 children, happier mentally and physically. Today is the premiere of The War for the Planet of the Apes. This is the 3rd in the series. There is conflict between humans and other intellectual animals, but behind the scenes is where it becomes more impressive. The actors wear suits that have reflectors, and on their faces, they have markers to show tiny expressions. Let's take a look at that in action.
A better world will emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past. A world founded upon faith and understanding. A world dedicated to the wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice.
Elephants have been long entertainment in circuses, but now things are changing. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo signed an act that prevents any elephants from being used in any entertainment. This will allow elephants to live happier in a less stressful and less violent environment. This move, he says, can double the lifespan of the precious animal. In 2 weeks, Thor Ragnarok is going to be released. The movie seems to be playing in a more humorous light than the other Avengers side stories. Chris Hemsworth's famous trailer line in the movie, "We know each other, he's a friend from work," is actually a suggested line given from Darcy, a Make-A-Wish kid. Let's take a look.
Hey! Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work. Where have you been? Everybody thought you were dead. There's so much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. Loki's alive. Can you believe it? He's up there. Loki, look who it is.
Solange had a braided up hairstyle that the Evening Standard took out, and she was not so pleased with the magazine photo results. Solange's hair was a small braid that goes in a circle on top of her head. They thought the braid took away from her face, but Solange was adamant about it staying. She fired back on her Instagram with the original photo and a title of DTMH, or Don't Touch My Hair. A Hilton hotel kicks out Cardi B for possession of weed, and Cardi B didn't make quite an exit as she claims racism on her and her staff. Police of the night of the accusation came to her door in the middle of the night to kick out her team, who was unaware of anything happening. Cardi B states that she does not smoke because it makes her paranoid. She was not arrested for this fact. That's it for this segment of entertainment. Join us next time.
That's it for this edition of Urban Nights Update for everyone here. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alma Tellentorp.
And I'm Anthony Silva. Have a great evening. See you back next time.